to kick it off. But now that we've gone through that, V5 and LGD finally going into pick and ban. And Sir, Akali left open, Samira left open. What year is it?
And even Pantheon and Olaf left open, I think is really interesting. Those are two S-tier picks we saw in LCS earlier today. They were banned pretty much every game. V5, though, going to the Syndra. And this goes back to the talk we just had, right? That these two mid laners have very similar champion pools. And we saw in V5 series against WE, Mo was pretty much able to single-handedly carry the one game they won just by bullying out Shanks in the mid lane.
You want to put pressure on Uniboy for his first game of the LPL. You take away the Zoe, the Orianna as well. There's no safe mid into this, so going to be crucial to see what we get from LGD as a Lux first pick on the red side, alongside the Kai'Sa, most likely going to be that bottom lane.
Yeah, this is something that is completely new. We have not seen Lux at all here in the LPL. Of course, we expect it to be support. Would be quite weird if it was picked up in the mid lane. V5 locking in the Olaf and something that we're not quite sure, but
yeah, they've changed blue side pick. You only get one now, and he goes back to red. Yeah, let's remake draft. I'm not sure what happened there. Mole locked in Pokemon number 151, but we'll pause for a second. On 152, whatever missing no is. We're going to remake draft and get back into that one, but assume that the Olaf is going to come with something else, as Galio was the response. So a defensive option there for LGD, considering that the Syndra was just the first option for V5.
You know, I want to tangent a bit to what we're seeing on screen, right? Because we did just see Trigger once again, and it leads me to kind of wondering how good V5's communication will be with him on the roster. Of course, he's in the AD carry position, but we're going to jump right back into draft, and that pick was the Samira. So V5 already signaling they have this composition that really just wants to go head first into what LGD have drafted. LGD didn't draft the Lux. Thank God. I wouldn't know what to say. Okay. They did just pick up the Pantheon, so we are trading S-tier junglers on both sides. LGD's comp, I'd say, has a bit more flexibility. Obviously, really good at jumping forward. All three of the champions can go in, but also having good zone control and utility if V5 do run into them first.
Bit of Wombo AoE, globals we'll talk about a lot with LGD's composition is the set priority after we've just raced through pick and ban. Now note, of course, the overlay broke. We went into a new one. So we've had a lot of top lane bans come through. The Gnar priority in the LPL, the Gragas too, Lyric. Lungshin kind of left on an island here to finish off.
We also got to remember that LGD technically have two flex picks, right? Either Set or Galio can be in the support role. I think both of them are decent against Samira. Obviously, Galio maybe a bit better. Easier skills to land like your Taunt and Justice Punch as compared to the Set. But Uniboy also playing both of those champions at the World Championship. So we will keep an eye on that to kind of spot out their last pick. And then V5 going back to more of a stock and standard. We talked about we know exactly what V5 are as a team. Weak side top laner, going to be a lot about these 5v5s, getting PP God on something that has a bit more initiation, and we expect to see V5 playing heavily around the bottom side of the map.
I was also going to say for V5, really strong team fighting, as you just mentioned before, with the mid 2v2 as well. I'll get you to explain that to me. With Syndra and Olaf and the damage that comes out in the laning phase, while for Colt, on top of this Aatrox, that means we're going to wait and see what finally gets locked in that bottom lane.
Yeah, I kind of expect it to be the Set pick. I think having mixed damage in your mid and jungle role is probably slightly better than just having Pantheon plus Set. Does sound kind of weird. I don't feel like you'd really have much kill pressure. So LGD probably going to settle on this. And when you look at LGD's comp, I think it's very short range, very melee oriented, so there's going to be a lot of outplay potential coming out from people like Mole and PP God if they can keep LGD at arm's length. The hard thing, though, is we know Pantheon does have that global ultimate. He jumps in, the Galio follows. It is quite hard to disengage from a situation like that.
You were walking me through V5 just a second ago, though. You were talking about the bottom side. I'll get you to elaborate on that and tell me how V5 play out this game.
For V5, whenever you see Samira, right, she is very kind of ride or die, especially with, in terms of her build, the fact that you are indexing into early lifesteal up against Kai'Sa, it kind of it's very hard for Kai'Sa to find opportunities to burst out the Samira if she does get ahead. So V5's draft and just their overall playstyle, obviously always funnel into the bottom lane. Mole and Weiwei should definitely win in the mid-jungle 2v2 as well. So maybe we can even see potential 4-man dive spot or even just invades into the enemy bottom side jungle.
Which is how we talked about playing out this series, right? Especially for V5's perspective, how the bottom lane is a crucial focal point of their compositions is a crucial part of how V5 progresses from beginning to the middle of the game, especially when they're a team that likes that dragon control. They like getting these early objectives and trying to build momentum off of that.
I think we also have to look at the fact of just LGD's person on the team, right? No matter what draft dictates, you know as V5 that, hey, Garvey is not an AD carry. He's going to be weaker in this role. He's not going to know these matchups as well as we do. Let's just punish this inexperienced member on the side of LGD.
See how he goes, because it's LGD's first game, first series of the split here in 2021. The LPL continues, and 7 days a week, baby. I'm not going to tell you what day it is because I look at the calendar and it says Saturday. So day number 6. And let those gyos ring out as we enter Summoner's Rift. And LGD, their debut is going to be widely eyed as a potential invade to start off the game.
LGD definitely having a decently strong level 1 coming out from the Pantheon point and click stun. I don't necessarily know if you'd really want to run into an Olaf. Maybe just potentially trying to spot out what V5 can do, and maybe we're going to see them go for a late deep ward onto V5's red buff.
Which is exactly what they're doing, is a 3-man unit, or at least starting the red. Pretty quick leash here with all 3 available, and they begin.
Yeah, and V5 don't know. We actually just saw V5 ping out LGD's blue buff, so this is just going to be a very cheeky steal coming out from Quay. I wonder if he's just going to go from V5's red buff to V5 to his own and try to stop any sort of like cross map or trading coming out. But we actually just do see him going straight to the Raptors. So V5's bottom lane gonna feel a lot of pressure.
Yeah, so this kind of counters what you're talking about in draft, where V5 wanted to approach Trigger and PP God and set them up for success. Trigger already at half health, getting poked down from Garvey and Chance. Kill threat very high, remember, when Kai'Sa takes Halo Blades in this lane and Chance tries to play aggressive for that level 2.
We gotta remember, Alistar isn't really much of a champion at level 1, and Set is extremely strong. We see many times where Set just blows Flash, goes for that E, and tries to trade Summoner for Summoner. LGD's bottom lane hitting level 2 just guarantees that even more. V5's job here is their bot lane needs to try and stay healthy and hit 2 so they can't get dove. I think they should be fine. LGD look like they are crashing in the wave maybe a bit too fast, so I'm expecting Trigger and PP God should be fine.
And pings were going down, so V5 are actually aware that Quay's here by the looks of it. The vertical jungling starting in the top side, well now here's the dive. Level 3, they want to kill Trigger, who tries to flash away. Immediately after the Haymaker comes through, Quay's on him though. One more Q necessary. Trigger is going to get welcomed to the LPL with first blood over to Quay.
Yeah, I was wrong. Great play coming out from LGD. They had the damage, they had a bit of a wave. It almost looked a bit dicey. A lot of summoners had to be blown, but they still walk away with the kill, and Trigger also having to blow both of the summoner spells.
You want to ask what's the response, because Weiwei at level 4 on top of Colt, but he drops a ward, finds out. Is it going to be a reverse dive?
It definitely will. We already see Mole on his way up. The wave is here. Can Colt outplay?
Ooh, TP from V5, further commit, it's Mole, but the Gallows coming up as well. Colt tries to flash away, Scatter the Weak connects though. W on top of that as Wei gets stunned up. And down he goes, LGD just counter, and V5 can't get it done.
Yep, sadly for V5, they are not used to making these kind of plays as we saw. Nice W coming out from Colt to lock down Weiwei. They sadly just didn't have enough first. Colt expending the flash to stay alive. And so far, massive win for the side of LGD. They're winning on the side they're investing resources in, and now winning on the side they're putting absolutely nothing into saving. So LGD having a very good start to this early game.
Great start. Quay's getting everything on the map. We'll have a look at this again though, Lyric, because Colt, you're right, survived for a long time.
Yeah, just, oh, nice flash over to make sure that Longshin can't get the knock-up, then throws out the W as well, which ends up bringing Weiwei back. Of course, Weiwei didn't take the flash, he did take the ghost this game, which, you know, does have a bit more use, like extended use overall. The flash just being a one-time thing, ghost obviously working over duration, but in this case, it did come back to bite him. And like I said, LGD in a good spot. They almost have a 1k gold advantage. And it feels like for V5, you're going to be relying a lot on Mole trying to find an advantage in this winning matchup in the mid lane.
He'll have to move down. He's got Tier to start this game off. But remember, he invested the teleport into that play as well. He was already halfway walking up to the top side. But now that that summoner is down, if something goes wrong with Mole, if Mole's not able to move and loses out on this mid wave, then V5 are going to crash and burn just that little bit faster. At 5 minutes into the game, that's a massive gold lead. And we'll see where they can affect on the map, how they can stop the potential snowball that comes out of early Pantheons with this kind of advantage.
And Mo also does have to be very respectful of LGD's comp, right? We have point-and-click stun coming out from Quay and a very easy taunt to land from Uniboy. So V5 are definitely on the defensive end of things right now. It feels like you're kind of waiting for some of these summoners supposed to come back up before you can really look to make aggressive plays. If Trigger does walk too far forward without his flash or cleanse, he will just be punished and instantly bursted.
What timing this is though, Lyric, because Ward just expired for V5 in the bottom side. Quay comes in with the control ward and 3 versus 3. PP gets the knock up onto Chance, but he's got a Haymaker ready to blow. Trigger goes on in, but he's only level 4. S-Class means nothing as Trigger will die in a response. A 1-for-1 as Quay is healthy as ever. And Garvey's running forward. No flash to follow up, but a Q to snipe down. Quay gets way, and all the way for LGD in this early game.
LGD had the wave near the side of the map. They were slow pushing it in, giving time for Quay to come down towards the bottom side. We talked about this in the segment before the game. V5 are very predictable with where they like to put their resources. LGD read it well, and they pick up 2 kills.
In their home arena, V5 debuting in Shenzhen for the first time, and LGD are smacking them across the face. Almost a 2,000 gold lead at 6.5 minutes into the game. Quay has a bounty, Lyric, and he's going to get the dragon. He's probably going to go back and be so close to an early gore drinker as well.
I mean, he's already sitting on the Iron Spike Whip, which is absolutely massive for him. And Uniboy just flashing the emote now. And one thing we need to keep our eye on is now LGD are going to start having this global pressure. It's going to be very hard for V5 to make any plays around the bottom side of the map when Uniboy can always be there first to answer. And I think LGD will probably turn out to be the team that will be more of the aggressors now. You're going to have a very easy time as whether it is Chance or Quay getting onto the likes of Trigger or Mole. Going to be very easy for both Uniboy and Garvey to follow up.
It also makes a lot of sense when we haven't seen Uniboy's ult yet. So we're waiting for that. We also know that Colt, you know, with World Ender around these skirmishes is going to be pretty impactful if he joins. Chance just looking for the chase after Trigger, who they're bullying out in this lane. Lyric across the board, you know, there's not really CS leads, but the kills make up the difference in lanes that we knew a lot of the time V5 would take control in.
V5, playing around early game skirmishes was always their bread and butter that brought them to a top 6 standing in playoffs. So seeing them not be able to recreate the same advantages they found in summer is quite weird. There is something interesting in terms of items that I want to pivot to that we've seen a lot of but not talk too much about was the new Ionian boots of Lucidity, the buff they got up to 20 ability haste. I'm sure all fans who've been watching LOL Esports see that pretty much everyone buys these. And just to give context in terms of value, the old Lucidity boots gave you 10 CDR. These new ones giving you 20 ability haste is about 17 CDR. So pretty massive buff and change from those old cooldown boots. So I think we are going to see it on pretty much all roles, all types of champions. We see supports by them every game.
Bit of a Starfall top lane, but you're right. It seems pretty strong at the moment. I might have to continue to interrupt as Lungxing wants the engage. The Searing Charge at the ready. Colt has gone into the World Ender as Undertow connects. Weiwei on the chase, but Colt has quite a bit of sustain as here's the hero's entrance. It's going to lock down Lungxing as Ragnarok to get out. Weiwei doesn't want to go back into this fight, and Uniboy has dissuaded enough, but PP Gold's made the roam. Quay flashes immediately, showing respect, but Chance is here as well. 4v4 in the top lane just got so interesting. As a Haymaker not needed, Chance has gotten to further engage. Lungxing taking the Ignite down. Uniboy with the Haymaker, the Winds of War, he survives, if only just.
And it's great to see LGD are the ones going for the aggressive play, V5's following up, but then we see all the reactive tools that LGD have, bringing Uniboy into the play, Chance being a bit late to follow up, but still, LGD are the ones who come out with a health advantage that is going to translate to this Rift Herald, and both AD carries just left in the bottom lane farming, of course, is great for Garvey, who already has an advantage.
Yeah, he's 1-0 and 2, but just noting on this Rift Herald as well, Lyric, we talk about this a lot, where to put it and how it enables your composition. What do you want to see from LGD with the early objective they've obtained? Yes, Chance is going to get out.
I expect to see LGD go and put it towards the bottom lane. The fact that they already have 3 plates down and it is where their pressure point on the map is, just means it's very easy for them to drop, take that turret, and then start changing around their lane assignments and play more for the side lanes.
Okay, well, watch the jungler, because Quay moving directly down there. He doesn't have the Starfall anymore. It's on about a 25-30 second cooldown until it comes back up. And we also have to talk about his itemization. He's not there yet, but still ahead while Weiwei's trying to get that farm advantage in the jungle to try and catch up.
I also want to see just how Trigger ends up playing out this game when you're up against an Aatrox, a Galio, a Pantheon. Anytime he tries to pop in with that ultimate, right, there's just so many ways to CC him, lock him down, and just instantly delete him from the fight. We talked about how V5 have some ways to play off of range or even like disengage as I shut up.
Oh, Mole has just teleported into potential death. Good scout of the week to survive, but he's teleported into a lane that he might have to leave soon anyway.
Mole doesn't teleport into potential death hysterics. Mole knows exactly what will happen at all times. It was all planned, and he knows what he's doing.
You're now the Mole apologist. I'm sorry, but there's no way I'll ever accept that defense. At the very least, he survives, right? So, you know, yeah, you're right. Mole comes back in. He's still up 15 CS, and he got the last chapter off that back as well. And as he comes back in, crucial timing, because Dragon's spawning in 30 seconds, so a good time to be alive if you're V5, and a good time to potentially look for bot as well.
Mole definitely not able to look for a recall after he lost that much health with the fact that Dragon was coming up in 30 seconds. Has to stay around, does have a bunch of corrupting pot stacks, actually used all 3, as Colt's going aggressive.
Is Longxing the assassin they need? Call the Fort God was already used, Bella's Breath quite nice. Searing Charge he wants to bait, but Colt's out of the World Ender. With a very good trade for Longxing, as this time Mole has to flash away. Quay goes in for the stun, wins the ward, dodged away from. Maybe LGD have gone too far. The shield is up, but you know what? Press the R button, and there you go. 450 gold over to Weiwei. Right in front of Dragon, LGD have no jungler.
V5 just doing a good job of taking advantage of a mistake coming out from Quay. He obviously just went a bit too far forward. V5 are able to punish. This isn't really a pick that V5 should have ever been able to get, but it will lead to them taking Dragon.
Garvey going in because he knows Mole doesn't have an ultimate anymore. Almost takes him down, but Dragon is secure. While meanwhile, Pippi God has found a pick. But you know what? If an ult comes through, Chance can turn this around. Haymaker right down the middle. Galio ulti as well. And there's Chance for you. I told you, it's a set. Weiwei getting low, needs one more hit. Garvey secures it. Who's picked up a triple kill in the making. Trigger walks in. He wants the outplay button as well. But Garvey, the top laner, just picked up a quadra kill as an 80 carry.
Yeah, Garvey might not be an 80 carry, but we've always known this guy has very pristine mechanics, maining champions like Irelia and Akali, showing it here in this skirmish. And V5 might have been the ones to find a pick in mid lane and have a numbers advantage, but Garvey was the one to really start things off. And it doesn't really matter that V5 pick up an Ocean Drake. LGD are sitting here with a 3k gold advantage.
Someone paused it. They said, Garvey, I thought he was a top laner. I didn't know he was in this game. Someone's pausing. We'll find out exactly what that is in all seriousness, but V5 in dire straits. Game 1 has not looked like the difference we expected when we ranked these teams pre-season. LGD have come off to a flying start, and let's be quite optimistic towards them. I think for LGD, the shot calling has been, bar maybe one mid play, has been pretty on point.
The thing I like is that a lot of us casters had LGD ranked around the 17th mark coming into this season. They are going through a rebuilding year. They are missing a lot of key pieces and carry roles, but you're right, they're playing very well. It has been a lot of reactive play thus far, I'd say, but still, they're making the correct decisions to answer what V5 are doing. And other than that one mistake coming out from Quay with his overforce in the mid lane, right, we can see a lot of very good mechanical like plays in these games. Colt isn't losing up in the top lane. Their bottom lane is doing quite well, and Uniboy is holding his own.
He really is. A key ultimate used once again. His 2 heroes entrances have been great, especially towards that choke in the bottom lane. And, you know, the fact that they're syncing so well is great. As it looks like players are back on stage. I love these camera angles shifting between like it's, you know, an action movie. It kind of has been for the LGD early game. And Lyric, I got to ask you, with this deficit against V5, what happens now? What does the mid-game look like when these turrets start to go down and LGD have these elongated side lanes?
The thing that I'm scared of for V5 is, right, they want they want the front to back team fight. They have the Ornn, they have the Samir who wants to go in as well, the Syndra playing from the range, but the problem is unless they can kite out LGD's initial engage and like maybe burst someone out with like a point blank Syndra EQ combo into an ultimate, that LGD should just be able to win any time. Again, they have so much zoning threat, so much CC, they can lock someone down and instantly take them away. And we did see while we weren't on our screens that LGD did drop the Rift Herald, so almost even taking that mid lane turret.
you know, getting the plating from it, I'm assuming, although I didn't actually see. At the end of the day, you know, Quay's gone back, but he still hasn't picked up his first item instead of Kindle Gem. This is what we missed, folks, or at least what we saw before we went into the pause.
PP-God was playing a bit aggressive, trying to go on to Chance. Nice ultimate coming out from Uniboy, though, and Garvey just has so much room to pop off, and this is what the composition is meant for. You have 4 meaty bruisers and a Kai'Sa. All of them are in the middle of the fight, causing chaos, being a bit of a distraction, allowing Kai'Sa to do what she does best.
And when a comp like this gets ahead, you know, even the bruisers are doing so much damage. You know, the Galio in a very good position. Colt, who has been farming up pretty much the same, almost towards his Gore Drinker. And V5 just looking for options. Now down 4,500 gold. If my maths does the trick. And LGD trying to break down some of these turrets and move between vision.
The thing that I like about LGD's comp a lot is that it does really well if it can get on the objective first. Again, it wants V5 to kind of walk into them. But even if they aren't, their composition is just so tanky, it isn't too bad to just face check vision for them.
I was gonna say, moves like that as well, right? Chance has the sustain on the set, so he can go and clear vision, take a shot from Mole, but there's no repercussion because he can back away, he can heal it up. Lyric at this state of the game, 14 minutes in, his turret plating has gone down. Still all turrets on the map standing, if only just. But I want to take a moment to look at items and look at the item advantage that LGD have, as you can see.
Yeah, we already see Garvey bringing out the Kraken Slayer and the Gore Drinker coming out for Quay. So we know in teamfights they're going to be much stronger at this point. And he talked about, hey, V5 still have turrets up. No turrets have gone down yet. But we're at the point where LGD can push out either this mid or bot lane, hover towards the other one, poke it with their finger, and it will fall down.
Make a play like this, right? Using the Gallo, the global pressure that we've talked about numerous times.
It's false security hysterics, false security. Those towers aren't standing.
I was going to try and quote you there. I was forgetting what you actually called as Quake comes in. Good scat of the week from Mole, so the play negated for now.
Still, this is what they needed to do, right? You just put the pressure down in mid lane. You don't actually need to kill Mole. You can walk up with the wave, and then you can look for a repeat play, whether it's in the next 30 seconds to a minute, and you will be able to start taking over the map and getting these structures and pushing in for more aggressive vision.
Herald could be coming next, but look at this, an engage from PP-God trying to lock down Chance. They did this last time, and they got brutally injured as Uniboy is in front of him as well. V5 have gone pretty deep into the enemy jungle, but the play stops there. It's all for Herald while the first turret goes down to Garvey, and he's like, no one's here, I'm just going to keep pushing.
I think this definitely favors the side of LGD. Garvey's getting a bunch of solo gold, solo EXP. The members of V5 are sharing this. They don't even really have a great place to drop this Herald or a great member to honestly funnel the gold on with how far behind Trigger is. So it doesn't matter that V5 are getting the objective. This is a straight up win for LGD.
He's 30 CS up, make it about 40. That bottom turret is going to give him his second item as well. Remember, a lot of these Kai'Sas optimized for the Serrated Dirk. I know something you and Clement were talking about the other day. Leads him into the Collector, and now that he's got it, Garvey is 1.5 items over Trigger.
I mean, Garvey has so much burst at this point in the game. If he gets on top of any of the squishy members on the side of V5, Olaf, Syndra, or Samira, they are just instantly dead. I'm not even quite sure that Alistar can survive without his ultimate. But V5 are going to answer for a play on the top side of the map. This, of course, is going to open up Dragon for LGD.
Yeah, so second Dragon coming into Infernal. The Herald will stop before it gets the secondary charge. Eye exposed and Colt just takes it down. At least some gold for V5 to be optimistic for a quick second, but we are so far away from that team fighting stage, from the stage you talked about with V5. I like how you set up conditions this game. It seems very simple to watch the windows of V5 and the clock that they're starting to set out for themselves.
And it just goes to where V5's comp kind of has a very simple identity, right? We're talking about the front-to-back team fighting, but LGD's comp having the more dynamic options that we've talked about. It doesn't feel bad for LGD to team fight, especially at this point in the game where they are ahead. We've seen they have a lot of tools to make picks in the side lanes. They have 2 globals. They can look for aggressive vision into the enemy jungle and try to just kind of do that push and pull motion, pulling the enemy back and forth. And we've seen a lot of the teams that are finding wins these days. It's all about the comp that has more options.
Yeah, and just to highlight your point of vision as well, the push and pull where V5 are always trying to walk in and clear away some of this vision, but Chance has been so diligent He's got a 49 ward score at 18 minutes into the game versus PP God in comparison, who's at 18. Something people wouldn't talk about usually, but Chance has just been so, again, to use that word, diligent with the vision control for LGD.
PP God was one of the best supports coming out from 2020 summer, so the fact that, you know, Chance faring so well up against him, Uniboy and Quay also doing quite a nice job, it's just so phenomenal to see. We need to remember, it is early in the LPL. It is before Chinese New Year, which is typically when a lot of these shenanigans do happen. So I don't feel like we can learn anything set in stone. Let's just look at top esports results for that one. But still, this is a great sign for LGD. And I'll shout out Clement. Clement was really the only one of us casters that believed in this team. He thought, hey, you know, this team's not going to be at the bottom. Maybe they'll be, I think he had them somewhere between like the 10th and 14th range. So
he did.
LGD, your boy Clement Chu believes in you.
Yeah, he does. And, you know, when Clement believes, a lot of the time he's not wrong. So maybe a lesson we could all learn. V5 at the moment still behind. About 4,500, 5,000 gold, excuse me. LGD at least holding control for now. And the difference between some of these better teams and maybe some of the middling teams is knowing how to transition into the mid game, knowing how to close out the game, and more importantly, how to use your comp to achieve exactly that.
That's a good point. We saw with BLG that, you know, they had an advantage, but they didn't exactly know how to capitalize on their composition's win condition to be able to close out the game. LGD, though, I think have been doing quite well, right? We've seen them consistently just play the 3-lane setup, group up, take vision, and they are looking for these picks, just kind of waiting for the next neutral objective to come up, where we can start to see these team fights again.
Gotta make sure that Colt doesn't get caught out on that note. Uses World Ender, and that's an ultimate with a relatively low cooldown, but still an ultimate burned. For V5, they'll take an advantage anywhere they can get it. And coming back to your discussion, I was going to ask, you know, do you want to draw V5 to some of these side lanes? Do you want to try and get V5 in an unfavorable position where LGD can get easier objective control?
I mean, for LGD, they're fine just letting the game play out at the pace it's been because, again, they have the tools to answer on the map. They have the tools to just stand in front of a neutral objective. V5 there, what they did was make a cheeky play where they forfeited the top side of the map. They realized, hey, if we're going to find an opening somewhere, we need to create it ourselves by giving LGD pressure somewhere and allocating our resources to the opposite side of the map. So had they been able to find that pick on Colt, it could have worked out to maybe where they could have gotten a bit more and won out very incrementally. But Colt played it well. V5 on that play that they decided to make were the ones who lost out.
The turret going solo over to Uniboy, picks up the Zhonya's off the back of it. Lyric, note for this next fight, which could be a potential in a minute 15 for the Dragon Soul being Infernal. We have two items pretty much across the board, or will be across the board, for LGD.
And a lot of key items as well. The fact that we have the Zhonya's Hourglass coming out now for Uniboy means he's going to be a massive engage threat. Of course, he took that Predator. I expect Colt to be picking up the Sterix Gauge soon, which I've talked a lot about Sterix Gauge when I was last broadcasting with Clement. It just synergizes so well with Aatrox's kit and the Gore Drinker now that you do heal off of dealing damage or even taking damage, just making him that really scary sustain tank that honestly V5 might not have enough DPS to deal with.
And if he's an item ahead, then he gets into the Spirit Visage, then he gets into, you know, potential Death Dance if we even see that item. There's a lot of healing available for Aatrox in these games where, you know, a couple of grievous wounds aren't going to affect him if he gets it early in the game. Just note, I said 2 for LGD. I picked myself up because Garvey has 3, naturally being so ahead of the curve. He's got 232 CS at 22 minutes in the game. And with the Phantom Dancer 3rd, he's going to get a lot of attack speed, a lot of more dueling potential around this next dragon. I
do want to go back to earlier when you mentioned the word sustain, because there's actually one thing that LGD's comp is missing, and it's missing healing reduction, right? We have Samira, Immortal Shield Bow, tons of sustain in her kit. We have an Olaf on that side as well. We're definitely going to need to see something like the Oblivion Orb come out for Uniboy next. Or, you know, you're at least giving V5 certain windows that they're able to play around.
Dragon going to go down in the meanwhile. That leads to Soul for LGD. And sorry, just coming back to your point, you're right. Let's see where the Grievous Winds come out of from LGD to stop some of that native healing. Especially since, you know, we will eventually get to the point where Samira can go into the fight and can't be touched at the later portion of the game.
you know, this is where the game can definitely start to lull, because as LGD, you're just chilling. You're fine with however the game goes from here. You can send, you know, your carries to 3 lanes, put Uniboy top, put, you know, Colt bot, and keep the other 3 mid. Just keep grouping up, putting down vision, waiting for the next objective. V5 are the ones who need to make some kind of rash decision. V5 are the team who need to do what they did before, give up pressure somewhere and try to commit to a 5v4 or 2v1 play like they did before somewhere on the map. The ball is in V5's court.
It just looks so difficult, Lyric, because I was just noticing Vision again, LGD keep tracking. They know where Weiwei is every step of the way. And in the bottom side, you can see crucial wards at crucial spots. Again, the Vision game being played really nicely by LGD, and V5 have to face check into these brushes. And with a comp like LGD, if you step in the wrong brush, you die in an instant, and you give LGD the window to snowball even faster and go past Chillin into Mega Chillin.
Yeah, I like your point. LGD's comp definitely having a lot of burst, right? You walk into a brush with Pantheon Aatrox as Samira, as Syndra,
dead.
You are just absolutely dead. And, you know, I don't want to see any team mega chillin', so I hope we don't get to that spot. LGD are going to aggressively fight for this vision, though, so we do see V5 here posturing for the play. Longxing does a TP.
Okay. Quay not chilling. He's going angry as Chance leads the charge with him. He uses the ultimate to roll in. Garvey now here as well. Level 14 on this Kai'Sa. Just in context, Trigger is level 12, so a lot of damage there. And LGD, after clearing out Vision, threatening the potential Baron, but not starting.
We need to remember, LGD have really good turn potential coming out from Pantheon Sen.
Yep.
Like, all of these champions are great at turning and peeling off Baron and jumping onto the enemy team. They don't exactly have the fastest Baron from the fact that we talked about, hey, it's a comp with 4 bruisers, 180 carry, but Chance is kind of finding a flank, though. He's just going to walk and clear the ward. We need to remember, though, right? LGD are a very inexperienced squad. Maybe not going to make the same kind of decisive play that a team like TES or JDG would, who would probably just jump on this Baron outright.
That's true. They're going to be cautious, and let's give them benefit of the doubt for now. It's still fine. LGD still holding that gold lead. Is Quay going to get spotted out backing? And this means for V5 with the timers, they can actually go in, clear away some of that vision, but a nice little ward placed by Chances is backing away. Means Baron in full vision, and V5 all they can do is push out the waves and most likely reset themselves to get ready for the Dragon Soul that could go to LGD.
Exactly. I like that you end on the Dragon Soul, because it's actually the correct play for LGD to just wait. They don't need to be too trigger hungry. They just want to wait out the soul. They already have 2 Infernals. They're 1 away from, of course, getting that ability of having the explosives on their attacks and abilities. So why not just take the safer route to the win? We do also see the Oblivion Orb coming out for Uniboy now, so they are going to be able to deal with a lot of that healing on the side of Victory 5. And again, you said it, V5 are the ones who are going to need to look to make a pick. We still are, I'd say, far away from any point where they're strong. Maybe Longxing is quite a bit tanky right now, so they should just be able to outright burst him, but still, I think Mole is quite far behind, especially with the fact that he had to buy the Chemtech Putrefier. Sorry, I think Purifier would have been a cooler word, but it's not.
I agree. Putrefier, I had to Google as well. He's still sitting on the tier, so he's optimized for that item. The Archangel will be coming third, but he has to teleport in, ready for this dragon, so won't be available for the fight. The item disadvantage very glaring against LGD. And V5 now trying to establish vision control as Soul stands there in 50 seconds to glare them in the face. And I know our chat might be thinking, hey, 10 kills, 26 minutes, we're falling asleep here. But you got to get ready, you got to wake up, because in 40 seconds time, we're going to have this fight. And we're going to see who gets Soul or denies on V5's side.
I just want to see how V5 elect to play this one out. They really would love to find this pick here, because again, they don't have a great way of keeping LGD at arm's length.
Engage? No. Okay, V5.
Nope,
5 versus 4. Yep, absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, Uniboy just going to hit top.
Yeah, so LGD, like you said, having some pretty decent shot calling and very good read of how to play the map. He does have teleport, so he could be there in an instant. V5's only chance might be to just burn Dragon right away. Ooh, Mole.
Scalawick's good. Onto Quay, gets him at half health, but Colt walking in Rev, he's pretty tanky himself. Kind of feels like Longxing on the Ornn at this point. Walking through as PP God in the flank. That sneaky man is waiting for his moment.
Yeah, Uniboy having everything up.
Okay, Dragon going down quickly, comes in with the ultimate. Quay goes in, they turn for the fight instead. Uniboy's there, onto Trigger in the backline. Chance gets his angle as well. Call the Forge God with a great knockup. The Heroes entrance as they find Quay, but that's a 4-man knockup across multiple parts of the terrain. Uniboy with a great fight as Garvey's already picked up a double kill. Sets him up for Penta Territories. Colt flashes forward onto Mole. There's the triple, and PP God separated from his team. That ult from Uniboy welcomes him perfectly to the LPL as they get Soul on top of it.
LGD picking up 3 kills, getting Soul. They should very easily be able to turn onto this Baron. Just excellent map play so far we've seen in the mid game. A lot of patience, which you wouldn't expect from a rookie squad. And they're just showing V5 like a textbook lesson on how to play League of Legends in their own home arena.
The team that I will admit I put at the bottom of the barrel of the LPL is classing on V5 and Victory 5, only with 4 members. The jungler not nearby. It's Baron on top of that Soul. It's Colt who ease out the back of the wall. LGD have just taken everything.
Yeah, and we saw plus 2,000 gold from that play on the side of LGD. Right now they're sitting at a 10k gold lead. And honestly, it feels way too insurmountable for the side of V5. We are going to go into this replay, and we do see LGD be the ones to engage. They have a great ability to dive onto V5's backline. I was quite surprised when Quay got bursted out immediately, but like you said, Uniboy landing an amazing ult, hitting that knockup. Garvey, as we've seen, just does so well in this position. The rest of LGD are causing so much chaos. He's able to free hit the enemy just unharmed, and it allows LGD to pick up that teamfight win.
And he cleans up so quickly, right? The burst now on a DPS 80 carry just because of how far ahead Garvey is. He's almost full build, Lyric. It's 29-30 minutes in the game. There's a QSS in the inventory, and after that, 8-0-2, Garvey heading towards that MVP status as LGD with the Baron and Infernal Soul are a threat that V5 have to start giving up objectives for.
V5's options really haven't changed, right? It's still about giving up somewhere on the map and all any one side. The problem is now with the Baron, now with the Soul, now with an even bigger gold deficit, I feel like we're at a point we've been a lot over the past week where LGD will probably win a fight even with a numbers disadvantage.
That's just how it goes at this point. Call the Forge God into Colt in the top lane, but this is a level 17 Aatrox with Gore Drinker. He's going to heal up if you let him as Lungshing gets a knockup, but in comes Quay with the ultimate. Lungshing searing charge away. Garvey ults in, though, into 4 people, sets up Uniboy's ultimate, and smacked down. 9-0-2 now on the scoreboard as LGD still win out with this global comp.
And we've seen Garvey having such a great game. Probably has the build with the most DPS possible. The IE, the Kraken Slayer, the Collector, the Phantom Dancer. He's just dishing out so much damage. Even the likes of Longshing will just go down to a few autos.
Who walks into the turret that no longer exists. Chance ults into the back line. That showstopper fantastic as Garvey's DPSing down, and down goes PP God. Trigger tries to ulti, and his first game in the LPL gets ignited. Down, Uniboy kills him with a Hextech Rocket Belt. He tries to Justice Punch forward as the Winds of War. That final touch necessary, but not needed. LGD have absolutely slaughtered this one, Lyric. And with 2 inhibitors down, now exposed Nexus turrets. Week trying to stop that one, but LGD still going forward. The Baron buff to end game 1. Searing charge on a 3-man knockup, but AoE delight. LGD, all 5 survive. Mole ults into Colt. The scat of the week, great. But again, nothing V5 can do with a 16-3 scoreline. LGD erupt in game 1.
And we see the smiles on the player's face. It's so nice to see, especially things like when a team has cleaner map plays or cleaner macro. That's something that it's very hard to predict from such a young lineup, to where maybe a member had popped off and we see, one member just win lane so hard they can snowball off of something like